All right, happy Monday, everybody. Started a new work week here, and we have a whole bunch of hail forecast stuff to talk about on our daily hail forecast at 12 p.m. But before we do that, we actually had a viewer request last night from a fairly interesting phenomenon that happened in the Sol storm that happened in the evening hours along the Red River. So we're going to kind of go into that in just a second. But first, before we do that, I'm going to do our usual every single day little reminder to get those notifications set up on your phone. I know a lot of people, even just this morning, were asking about that. You need to make sure you have your account. Go on to notification options, and it brings you up to this page where everything's there for you to do it all on one simple page. You can set the methods of which you want to receive your push notifications. If it's a push notification on your phone, emails, or through your desktop computer, get that set up, and you can also go ahead and set up the regions for which you'd like to be notified for. Select all states if you want, certain cities, certain states, whatnot, and you'll get push notifications if we're mapping in an area, if we have 2-star maps or larger available to be viewed or for purchase, and also these forecast videos here as well. Get push notifications for all those, and of course the hail alerts of golf ball size hail or larger in populations of 10,000 or more. And those are different from the National Weather Service, just the reports that generally come in. These are our own in-house little reports. So that's make sure you just have that set up. And we're going to now jump into the radar from yesterday. So we had a storm yesterday, ended up, one storm formed right along the Red River. And I should have this up here right now. Yep. And ended up splitting. If I can push forward here, you can see a storm formed right by Wichita Falls, and then an interesting thing happened where we had right here the storm shot out and went on its own. So we had somebody message us on intercom and ask if we can go over splitting storms, because he was just kind of interested in the fact that it looked pretty apparent. It is not super rare, but it is uncommon occurrence among supercell thunderstorms, and the most basic way to describe what happens, and I can just kind of show. So I have the ZDR here on this one. We usually look at this to see how much hail is falling, but it's also good to see updrafts and kind of, so in the red areas, so you can see like right here, you have 2 separate updrafts. And the storm at this point, right just to the west of Wichita Falls, is already starting to split, and this one is going off on its own, and this one is going to turn to the right. An interesting thing about splitting supercells is they're mirrored images of themselves. So a big thing about them is they can be pretty nasty hail producers. Like this one, if we push forward enough, you can see, whoops, that ended up dropping up golf ball size hail up by Duncan and everything. And typically these storms, so what happens is the inflow of the storm is to the north. The storm usually shoots way off to the north, goes pretty quick, and it drops usually pretty large hail. And yeah, and again, like the inflow, it's coming in kind of like this instead of coming in from the south like that one. And mirror images, kind of cool. You can do anti-cyclonic tornadoes as well. The main reason it happens is just upper air wind. So basically, to get this to happen in a hodograph, which is what we see for shear, usually if it's good for tornadoes, it's kind of curved like in a half circle, but with storms that will split, it's curved and then kind of goes straight. And what that means is at the surface, so say you have winds going left to right at the surface, then there's an area in the middle that's kind of weak, and then you have an area up higher that goes right to left. And this causes, instead of the storm to rotate really well, it causes the storms to kind of go off in different directions, and that will end up causing an updraft to go up. And instead of having it just kind of go up and turn into a monster, it'll actually shear off part of it because of the winds going the other direction, and ends up making a second storm, and it shoots that storm way off. And usually the upper level winds are a lot faster than lower level winds because of the friction with the earth, which is why these storms end up rocketing to the north, because they're being pushed by the much faster winds. And then typically when that happens to the storm to the south, the one that turns right ends up being more dominant, like this storm was yesterday. This thing dropped some massive hail and kept trying to make a tornado but didn't quite make it. So that's, in layman's terms, how we do it. It's just 2 different, there isn't enough wind in the middle sections of the atmosphere. Its upper levels are going one way, lower levels going the other, and it kind of rips the storm in half. and then they just kind of go their merry way based on the winds that are in the atmosphere. This was a good example just because it did split so nicely, so cleanly. We were actually watching it very carefully because these north split storms are the little wild cards of weather, where we were watching this and it was like, man, if this thing can haul all the way up to Oklahoma City, that can like make a big change in the forecast. So that's pretty much what we're doing. I hope that was at least kind of easy to understand. I didn't have time this morning to make like graphics for it or anything. I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, so I had to kind of condense everything, just kind of showing you on the radar. But with that, I'm going to turn things around, and we're going to talk about the forecast now. So just I'll pop back up to my PowerPoint here and jump right into our forecast for today. We have an area with hail possible pretty much from the Mexico border down in Texas at the Big Bend of Texas, all the way up here to just south of Kansas City into western Missouri. There were a couple storms this morning just to the south and east of Kansas City. Actually hailed at the National Weather Service office in was it Point Pleasant or something? Something with the word pleasant in it. In southeast sections of the Kansas City metro, $1/4 size hail. A couple other storms spattered about in eastern portions of Missouri, but it looks like more storms are going to form this afternoon and this evening, especially here in the orange area that we have up to tennis ball size hail possible. Storm Prediction Center actually just upgraded a little while ago to even higher chances of a pretty large hail happening. So I think places like Abilene, I have a 15% chance, up to tennis ball size hail, maybe even a little bit larger if storms really can get going, all the way down to just to the east of Odessa. I know there's not a whole lot out here by like Big Spring and everything, but I'd also give a 15% chance for Wichita Falls and for Lawton. I just wanted to put 115 on here to keep things from being a little too muddled. And even Oklahoma City, there is a chance that there could be some storms that make it up here. The computer models have really been struggling this morning. They've been kind of all over the place, so I can't rule out Oklahoma City, but I don't have the same level of confidence I have further to the south and to the west. But we'll be watching carefully. For all we know, a little north split could happen and move through Oklahoma City, and that would kind of fit with the theme of the beginning of my video. And but yeah, this is going to be anytime after about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Storms are going to form probably right along this dry line here. It's going to be in just to the west of Oklahoma City, all the way down through southwestern Oklahoma, probably just to the east of like Childress, Texas. So over in the Wichita Falls area, just to the west of Abilene. And these storms are going to probably pretty numerous, but I think it's going to stay isolated for just long enough where we can get some really big hail. There's a lot of instability in the air, a lot of moisture, a lot of fuel for these storms, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw up to tennis ball size hail, maybe even up to baseball size hail or larger, if we can keep storms isolated for long enough to really take off and have a big time hail. And again, places like Lawton, Wichita Falls, and Abilene are most at risk for today. Oklahoma City a little bit less. Again, I think we might just be a tiny bit too far north for like the main development of storms today, but I can't rule it out. It's much better chances than Tulsa. I think Tulsa's chances are pretty low. Fayetteville, all this is going to be smaller hail as well, and this will be through the afternoon, this evening, into the overnight hours. I think we'll be seeing hail all the way through about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And again, the primary stuff in here, Dallas area, I can only give you about a 2% chance. I think your chances are pretty low for today. However, moving forward to tomorrow, if I can actually move forward to tomorrow, there we go. I think Dallas has a better chance for some hail tomorrow. Right now, I'm saying up to golf ball size hail possible. This whole system is pretty challenging for forecasting because of the way it's moving pretty slow, it's very wet. So the big question is what's going to happen tonight? Are storms going to be very numerous across Oklahoma and Texas and stay as like a squall line and slowly ease their way down towards Dallas? Or are they going to kind of fade out and then we're able to reset the atmosphere tomorrow and have storms form? If we have that second option, storms will form and it'll be pretty close to the Dallas area, right around where you kind of want it to happen in a situation like this, because the biggest hail will happen in that first hour of storm development before they get too numerous and they kind of collide into each other too much and really minimize the hail risk. So again, right now, preliminary forecasts, I have Dallas all the way west to about the Odessa Midland area. All chances of seeing hail up to golf ball size. And again, depending on how things play out today, tomorrow morning we could change that to be even larger hail if conditions are proper for that. So that's what we're looking at the next couple of days, and then beyond that, we still have some more storms possible moving forward to Wednesday and to Thursday as well. Wednesday, we have this whole area of concern. I don't have a preliminary forecast for that yet. We're just kind of looking at what we're expecting generally for storms. Again, it's just kind of compounding. So what happens today affects tomorrow, and what happens tomorrow will affect what happens on Wednesday. So right now, we're kind of just watching areas from Mississippi down through southwestern Arkansas, most of Louisiana, and then areas of interest for Texas, such as Houston, San Antonio, Austin, even further south towards like Laredo and down towards McAllen, right along that Mexican border. All these areas have a chance for hail, and if I really wanted to highlight one area I'm watching in particular, it would probably be from probably about Houston areas just north, west through Texas. I think there will be some clearing, at least right now from what I'm looking at. Again, this could change entirely in the next 48 hours. There is at least a chance for some clearing in Texas, so more isolated storms. More isolated storms we get, the better chance we have for some hail. And again, it really is going to depend on how things evolve tonight and tomorrow night for Wednesday. And with that, I continue to push forward to Thursday. Same story, different area, different day. We'll see how things pan out on Wednesday. And for Thursday, we'll see if things happen in southern Mississippi, Alabama from Birmingham Point south, and even possibly the New Orleans area. Again, that's going to really depend on what happens on Wednesday. If we have a squall line that's just very slow and persistent, that'll kill our hail risk over a very large area for multiple days in a row. But if we have storm development kind of dying off and resetting every single day, then we at least get that initial shot for some hail. And right now the models are kind of showing that, so I'm leaning into that a little bit. But we'll have to kind of see how things play out the next couple of days. So that's what we're looking at from now through Thursday, and then after that, things are a little muddled. So what guys want, I'll pop into the models now, and I can kind of show you guys what we're looking at for today and tomorrow and etc. if you guys want. And I can answer any questions anybody has in a minute here. I know a bunch of you guys are chatting in the chat, but we love it. We love to hear you guys talking, commenting, giving us feedback, giving us where you guys want to have hit, where you guys are working at, all that lovely stuff. And let's see, is the new model run out? Okay, let's see what the latest is. 16Z, so this is just an hour ago. The HRRR, I'm sure you guys have seen this a lot at this point. This is the high resolution rapid refresh model. It updates every single hour. This is pretty good for just day of events to kind of see. This is the composite reflectivity, so this is what the model thinks the radar will look like. Obviously, we don't take this as a gospel or anything. We just kind of look at it and kind of see an idea of if storms are going to fire, generally where they might fire, and how strong they're going to be. This is the latest run. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, and you can see why the main reason we have hail. This is, I think Wichita Falls is right around here. Storms form this afternoon, about after 3 o'clock, all the way back by Big Spring, and they get pretty numerous pretty quick. And see here, Oklahoma City is right in this area. So this model run in particular has storms getting dangerously close to Norman. So that's why I have that 10% chance there, just in case. And the way this looks as well, this would be kind of a muddled mess, but I think this would still be big enough to produce hail. And I think that's why the Storm Prediction Center up their hail chances quite a bit in their most recent update as well. So again, I think we could see some pretty big hail. Again, Wichita Falls, Abilene, I know is in one of these square counties somewhere. Again, in an area that's pretty close. I can bring up the earlier run that has the full run out that I've actually had a chance to look at and move forward. Again, same basic idea. Again, Oklahoma City is fairly close to you guys. So we're watching that real careful. A lot of precipitation, and then even more. This one has even more storms forming later on this evening. And again, a lot of precip. It's going to be a lot of rain, a lot of flooding rains, but the hail chances will be in there. It'll be obviously covering everything that happens. If any large storms do move through places like Wichita Falls or Abilene or even Oklahoma City, we will do continuing coverage for that, as we have for the past other events in the past couple of weeks. Moving forward now, I'm going to check out another model. This is the 3cam NAM. This one goes out a little bit further, so you guys can see what we're looking at for the next couple days. So this is for today, showing some storms moving through, and then through tonight. And then as we move into tomorrow, it has storms trying to form in the Dallas area pretty early in the day. And then it's real. Again, this is why we're kind of all over the place, kind of a muddled mess of just storms and showers and everything all over the place. So it's really just gonna have to wait and see how things pan out, and then we move even further along. You see more storms trying to form as we move closer and closer to Wednesday and Thursday. So that's what we're looking at right now for the next few days. It's kind of a muddled mess, kind of playing it by ear, just seeing how things go every single day. Today, if you joined us recently, chance for storms pretty much from the Tulsa area all the way down to the Mexican border. Places like Abilene, Wichita Falls, and Lawton, I'd probably say, are the best bets for big hail today, upwards of tennis ball, maybe even a little bit bigger than that if we can have some good heating, some good instability. And with that, I'll show you one more thing. I'll just jump to the American model here, and we'll look at the upper level winds, and we're going to see how right now our forecast for 2018 is a little bit in jeopardy at the moment, as a fairly persistent cold pattern here in the stupid Northeast has really made it so good moisture return and activity has kind of been stunted for a little while, and we're just kind of sitting and waiting to see how long it takes for that activity to kind of push away. So once we get past here's on Friday, and then the jet stream's kind of quiet. It's unusually far north, so I'm having a hard time believing this going to the first week of April. There's a little bit of a push here. I think there might be something going on next week, and then we just push through the whole run, and then things get all kind of wild and wonky at the end of the run there, because that's just what this American model does. But I think might be some of you guys might get a little nervous that first week of April, as things seem to be kind of winter's trying as hard as it can to hold on in the Northeast, up in places like Minnesota, down through the Great Lakes into anywhere here in the Northeast. In my home state, looks like it'll be chilly for a little while longer, and a little bit longer than what we were expecting here. There was a couple meteorological things that happened well after I've made the forecast for the year that kind of thrown a wrench into the system a little bit. We're just going to kind of have to wait and see how things pan out for the rest of April. I think that first week of April may be a little bit quiet, or it'll change entirely, because the models have, again, been all over the place every single run. So it's made forecasting kind of a hair-pulling nightmare. So we'll be watching that very carefully as well. I can answer any questions you guys have. I know the comment section has been kind of going a little bit here. Okay. Come on, Abilene. Say Nickel. Best time for Southwest Missouri, probably this evening after about 4 or 5 o'clock through the overnight hours. St. Louis, no hail in OKC this year. I'm calling it now. No, Joe Rosa, don't say that. Don't jinx us. Don't send that bad mojo over here. Okay, yeah, everyone's saying that. All I need is golf ball. Hail in Duncan last night. Checking it out. Yes, there was hail in Duncan. Kansas City, I-35 area in Oklahoma today. Yeah, possible. I think things will make it over to like Ardmore and stuff as well. Okay. Okay, see, I like what you're saying. 2 years in a row, same time works for me. Storm guy still rocking Arkansas leads, going at 20 plus days. As always, thanks, John. Okay, yeah, so that's, like I said, all the comments you guys have. And I think I'll just wrap it up for you at this point, because that's pretty much all we got for you today. Make sure you follow us on Facebook if you don't already. I know most of you guys watch us on Facebook, and if you watch us on the app, follow us on Facebook anyway and go and click see first. All of our posts will be at the top of your news feed, so you don't miss any of our videos or our other posts that we may have on our Hail Trace page. So even if you miss our push notification and the notifications that Facebook send out occasionally for videos, you can see it when you log into your Facebook. Even if it's not live, you can watch it after the fact. You can still comment, and we'll try to comment any questions you may have after the fact in the comment section below. And if you have any other questions about Hail Trace in general, you're interested in our product, and more interested in about what we have to say, you want some more questions at the forecast, and you don't want to wait for us to respond on Facebook, give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can also email us at info@hailtrace.com, or you go on our website at hailtrace.com, and you can use Intercom, which is on the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and you click on that, and you can message us directly through there, and we typically respond to that pretty quickly, especially during the week and when we're all here at the office. So we hopefully can answer your questions as quickly as possible. The whole storm splitting thing, somebody messaged us on Facebook /intercom for that one. So if you have any requests for certain things you want more interesting weather stuff that you notice and you kind of want more explanation about, you can message us on there as well, and I can do my best to kind of incorporate it into my videos every single day. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap this up for you guys. I'll see you guys later. If any storms do occur in populated areas, we'll be doing our live continuing coverage. And if not, I'll see you again tomorrow at noon for our daily hail forecast video. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday, and I may or may not see you later on today.